Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party and a quick video I whipped up talking about how to do the key pulse in Nioh. Now I know the demo is ending very soon. I still wanted to make this because a lot of people had questions about how this very important mechanic works. So in Nioh you have ki, which is basically stamina. You use up ki whenever you do things like block an attack, dodge, or do attacks. And you'll notice as I'm doing attacks here, the green bar drops, but it also leaves behind a red bar showing how much I've used up. After a second or two that I've stopped attacking, the light blue bar will slowly go up to the top, and then both bars will disappear. With a key pulse, what happens is when you press your key pulse controller button, which is R1 by default, you will do a key pulse, and wherever that blue bar is on the orange line, you'll get that much key back. Obviously, you want to maximize that. You want to wait till it hits the very end, but you don't want to wait too long because it'll either time out or if you get hit, it'll interrupt it, things like that. So one thing the game does to help you so that you're not staring at your stamina bar the entire time, you'll notice here whenever the blue bar gets to the max, in other words, it covers up the red bar entirely, you'll notice around the player's waist, kind of a white flash. That's to let you know it's time to do a key pulse and get your maximum amount of key back that you can. When you time your key pulse so that you get the maximum amount of key back, the game will indicate that by giving a special flash around your character and a very slightly different sound. Get in the habit of using key pulse efficiently as early as you can because it's going to be very important that you become very good at it and it becomes second nature to you as you progress into more difficult areas of the game. Once you've learned how to key pulse, now we can move on to learning how to key flux. Now there's two levels of key flux 1 and key flux 2. These abilities you do have to purchase with your samurai skill points. However, as you can see here, if you purchase them for any weapon, it unlocks for all weapons. So you do not need to buy key flux 1 and 2 for every single weapon. Once you've unlocked them once, it is unlocked for all other weapons. So let's talk about key flux 1 first. Key flux is basically a key pulse, except instead of just hitting R1, you're actually switching to another stance. So for example, if I'm in high stance and I do my attacks and I wait until the blue bar gets up to max, instead of just hitting R1, I'll say hit R1 and square to switch to mid stance. And I will actually get more key than what it shows as the max. In other words, I'll get more key beyond the orange bar. In fact, I will show you here slowed down so you can see it a little bit better. Lastly, we're going to talk about key flux 2. All key flux 2 is changing stances again after you've already done a key flux. So in other words, if I'm in high stance and I do a key flux into mid stance, I then immediately go into low stance right after that. So does that make sense? Go from high, key flux in the mid, and then immediately switch stances into low. I'm doing that here during the video you're watching, and I will show you again in slow motion so that you can kind of get the idea. It's more complicated than it sounds. Once you kind of get your fingers used to doing it, it becomes second nature, and it's not something you're going to use all the time anyway, but as you can see here, it regenerates a lot of key. Also keep in mind, you do not need to run out of key to do key flux or key flux 2. I'm just doing that as for demonstration purposes. Okay folks, that is pretty much it. Here I'm kind of trying to show the difference between making a run without doing any kind of key regeneration, this run being the one where I don't do any key pulses, any key flux at all, versus the same run but with doing regen. Funny enough, this run actually went way better than it should have, but you can see here I'm kind of getting in certain situations where I am very, very low or even out of stamina. And if I'd have gotten unlucky on like that axe guy, for example, if he would have swung a bit earlier instead of being more passive, that could have been a huge problem due to my very low stamina. And this guy just gets completely destroyed. So not a great example. So this run, I do actually do some key pulses, key fluxes as well. And again, you'll notice I miss a lot of these myself. I'm definitely no master at the game. I'm still learning myself. So you're not going to pick it up, most likely, and just be nailing key fluxes and key pulses the whole time. So, but again, I kind of wanted to show you what two different types of runs would look like. You can see there's a big difference in the amount of key that I have during these fights. I'm able to stay much higher on my key. That way, again, if something happens where I have to block a big hit or dodge out of the way, I've got plenty of key to spare, as opposed to before, I was very, very low. And keeping in mind, this is the very first area. Obviously, these guys are going to be a little bit easier. Later on, again, it's very, very nice to have that extra little bit of key horsepower, regeneration at least, to save your bacon or finish off some low-level enemies. But anyway, I'll go ahead and just let the rest of this run out while I kind of finish up talking here. I am definitely looking forward to the game. When the game comes out, I do plan on doing a full series, like a Let's Play. I also want to make some more tutorial videos. I actually wanted to do more during the demo, but time kind of got away from me. So, but yeah, I would actually like to do more of these. If you guys end up liking this one, there's a very good chance that once the game goes live, I might cover some other topics that aren't explained overly well in the game, or that there's translation issues for, like with the blacksmith. This game's got a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff to understand. That's why I wanted to make these videos. This in particular, because a lot of people were confused about how key pulse and key flux work. But yeah, I'll definitely be making more videos of this game. I really like it so far. I'm absolutely looking for the full release. There is no release date currently. It's still supposedly this year. So this is where your key stamina or your key pulses are going to be very handy when you're fighting multiple enemies. Now, I did a horrible misswing there. But keeping your stamina up so that you can attack as soon as possible, or dodge in, get a hit, and dodge back out, and then, you know, be back as fast as possible near to max key is a good thing. Keeping in mind that you drop your ability to do a key pulse if you dodge or I think block. So keep that in mind. But the point being, if you do get some hits in, you can kind of back out, dodge in, get a hit, and dodge back. Yes, you won't get a key pulse, but it's still handy. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.